Tēnā tātou. Welcome to us all to Hui 72. We'll take the first three items in the standard way together: apologies, declaration of interest, confirmation of minutes, and again, a reminder on the declaration of interest to keep the management team updated with our interest and any changes there. And can I just check with you, Chris, was there any interest you wanted to note for today's open session?
Just my, as a representative of the ARL board.
Thank you, Chris. And as we've done previously on the Zooms, I'll move just for efficiency, I'll move the resolutions and then just ask for someone to second. So items 1 to 3, I'll move. Can I have a seconder, please? Yes, thank you, Alf. In the usual way, thumbs up, nods. Can we confirm all those in favour? Say aye. Thumbs, yes, thank you, that's approved.
Aye.
Thank you. Takes us to item 4, the Tūpuna Maunga Authority Q2 report. Kia ora, Nick.
Tēnā tātou. I too will take the report as read. We've listed 4 highlights inside that report with regards to the work we did in Q2. Being the COVID framework, in particular noting moving away from the alert levels into the traffic light system, and that's been reasonably well managed to date. Maunga protection in terms of Guy Fawkes and the work that was successfully undertaken to ensure that the fire was managed through that particular time frame, where we know that they're at high risk, so we were able to complete that season without any fire. Some really great news, which is also an agenda item, so I won't go into too much detail, but of course the Jobs for Nature program, and we were successful in a bid for some funding for that, which is a highlight of the season of Q2, and of course the track work's been completed at Te Tātua Riukiuta, noting of course all of the how hard it was to do capital works programs during those times, with restrictions on abilities to work, some supply chain issues really big for the whole of Tāmaki, and working through the pandemic. So really good, outstanding achievements there. I think that's reflected as well inside our financials. Operational, our spending seems on track. We do have some issues. We are running slightly behind with our capital works program, to those issues that I've raised in above with regards to the ability to do capital works during this period, and noting of course the revenue that is down simply because we've offered rental relief to a number of people, in particular Sorrentos, during that period.
Kia ora, Nick. Is there any discussion? Kia ora, Tony.
Kia ora, Chair. Thank you, Nick, for this. Just a couple of things I wanted to ask around some of the capital works. The Maunga Wika staircase, that look incredible. Thank you. I noticed it says 95% complete. Is that an old, slightly dated report, or is there still something to happen there? So
bearing in mind this is Q2 report.
Yeah.
So it's actually about what was happening by the end of December.
Yeah, right.
There is some works to finish the work at Maunga Wika, largely around some of the handrails, but at the moment all of the tracks are open, and yeah, it is a stark contrast to what was happening. And in our next quarter report, I'm hoping to report that we've completed those works at Maunga Wika.
Yeah, they look awesome. Thank you. My second question was on Te Pane o Mataaho, sorry, the Marahupara consents. Is that in construction now then?
It's a great question. Without going into too much detail for commercial sensitivity, we're about to award that that particular contract. That has been a frustrating process throughout, and there has been significant delays, but yeah, we will be beginning that work as soon as possible.
Great, thank you, and well done again for the Jobs for Nature grant. That's awesome. Thanks.
I'll move the paper. Tony, can you second, please?
Yep.
Thank you. All those in favour say aye, or confirm. Yes, thank you.
Aye.
Thank you. It's confirmed. Takes us to item 5, Jobs for Nature. Kia ora, Nick.
Tēnā anō whānau. Further to our Q2 report, we have been successful in an application to the Department of Conservation for the Jobs for Nature fund. We can confirm that We will be receiving $3 million over the next 3 years to deliver this program. The program bolsters the work that we're currently doing inside our biodiversity and biosecurity program, focusing on pest control, pest weed control, as well as some of our biodiversity outcomes. We will see 2 staff coming on board to the Tūpuna Maunga team that will be delivering, will help manage the contract and engaging with our communities in terms of developing halo pest control operations around the Maunga, in terms of planting corridors of native trees between our Tūpuna Maunga. As part of the contract, as part of the, those 2 works, and 11 positions will be established through 3 contracts with other providers that will be delivering extra biodiversity and biosecurity outcomes on the Tūpuna Maunga. As part of the grant, there will be a number of training opportunities for participants. Those are listed inside the paper. And yeah, this will, I think, increase the amount of staff, contractors and people working for the Tūpuna Maunga that will be present on site, and also increase, I guess, an understanding around some of our biosecurity and biodiversity programs. Finally, we have in the report requested a direction from the authority to purchase 2 cars. The program does not cover capital works. The fund does not cover capital works costs, but we are requesting some vehicles to help us manage the process for our 2 staff, so that we can basically get out and about and manage the work appropriately and engage with our community. So that in particular during COVID times is really essential, as most of our staff are working from home, and we do need options to allow our staff to be able to be out and about on the Maunga so that they can deliver on this this exciting project.
Good, Nick, thank you. That's an important project, as you say. Is there any discussion? Good, Chris.
Good, Mr. Chair, through you. Nick, just on the vehicles, are you looking at electric vehicles by any chance?
So I would like an electric vehicle, yes, but we may also need a ute. And to date, there are no utes on the New Zealand market that are able to deliver some of that stuff. So yes, sustainability will be one of the things that we will utilise in choosing those vehicles.
Thank you.
Kia ora, Alf.
Nick, just one partai, and that is, are we making use of the purchasing power possibly that Auckland Council has in regards to the 2 vehicles?
Yes, that will be put in place.
Okay. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I'll move the resolution for this paper. Alf, can you second, please? Yes, thank you. All those in favour say aye. Thumbs up.
Aye.
Nods. Thank you. Yes, approved. Thank you. Takes us to item 6, Maunga Fo kiosk. Kia ora, Nick.
Tēnā noa. So this paper is with regards to the kiosk on Maunga Fo. Members of the authority will recall that a lease was granted in 2019. Unfortunately, that lease had to we had to foreclose that lease because of some of the impacts that COVID-19 had on that particular business. I would also note that this is something that we have gone out through since 2015 to try and find a suitable person to lease this building to, and that's been quite a hard process. All of those processes have been open processes, open expressions of interest processes. This particular process, we went through a specific tender process, and there was a criterion that we applied to this for people to have a minimum of 5 years experience, a minimum of 2 years relevant public facing contact or businesses, an ability to show a strong track record for a minimum of 3 years of trading, ability to provide evidence of their market credibility, ability to establish a presence in the local market and increase visitation, ability to scale up and down in accordance to seasonal and market demands. Through that process, we've identified a company called BGS Management. They operate a number of cafes around Tamaki Makaurau, and one of the main things was that they were COVID ready and able to shift resources to ensure that they are able to continue operating for the duration of the lease. We've also noted, of course, that they are willing and have shown a real willingness to work in partnership with us. And there's a number of opportunities that can come out of that in terms of opportunities to partner with mana whenua, to employ mana whenua people inside the cafe, for us to have input into their menu, and for us to be able to offer a modern Māori cuisine offering. I do note, of course, there are a number of statutory processes of which apply for this. So in that report, you'll see discussion around the integrated management plans and strategies and how they apply to these leases. And also noting, of course, that we will be going through a process of notification as per the requirements of the Public Reserves Act 1977. Happy to answer any questions.
Kia ora, Nick. Any discussion? So this paper will be moved by Kathy. I will second. All those in favour say aye, nod or thumbs up, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Kia ora, thank you. So moved. Takes us to the Captain Music Air Scouts lease update. Kia ora, Nick.
Tēnā anō. Again, another lease on the Tūpuna Maunga. This lease is with the Scouts at Ohuiarangi Pigeon Mountain. Again, through that process, I've listed statutory requirements and obligations. You will note that it's for a small building inside the local purpose area on Ohuiarangi Pigeon Mountain. The Scouts have been there for some time. They are a typical Scouts unit and have shown a willingness and capacity to engage in a Maunga outcomes plan. There is a small rental there of $4,320 per annum that has been determined by an independent register valuer. And we are looking to offer a term of 1 year with 1 year right of renewal. This is in line with our Tūpuna Maunga leasing processes in regards to allowing a suitable amount of time for the applicant to show that they're able to deliver on outcomes for the Tūpuna Maunga, and for a decision to come back to the authority at the expiry of the lease and the second term to grant for a further lease. You will note there that there are a number of statutory processes that we will also have to go through with regards to the Reserves Act, including Section 54 of the Reserves Act, showing our powers for the delivery of that. So happy to answer any questions.
Kia ora, Nick. Any discussion? I'll move the paper. Chris, can you second that, please?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. All those in favour say aye. Thumbs up. Nods,
Aye.
please. Yes, thank you. So moved. Takes us to the Tūpuna Maunga Tohu framework, and just before Nick speaks to it, just to confirm, we're going to add an amended or an additional recommendation for final approval of the document to be confirmed by the Chair and Deputy Chair, and that, of course, is if the paper is accepted. So over to Nick. Janine.
Sorry, I'm not sure if Janine's online anymore, so I will answer the
She
paper.
is.
I am, but away you go.
No, off you go, Janine.
All right. Kia ora koutou. The report is basically seeking the authority's approval for the Maunga Tohu framework. The purpose of this framework is to manage commercial activities undertaken on the Maunga. It has been developed in accordance with the Tamaki Collective Redress Act and reflects the values and pathways of the Integrated Management Plan, and also the Tūpuna Maunga strategies, which were adopted a few years ago. It provides basically a framework to assess commercial activities, and that's set out in the attachment in attachment A to the report. It also needs to be consistent with the Reserves Act. The Tūpuna Maunga are classified in accordance with the Reserves Act, and they're set out at paragraph 13 of the report. And you'll also note in paragraph 15 that it is an offence under the Reserves Act to undertake trade, business or occupation in the Maunga without the authority or the authorisation of the administering body. Basically paragraph 18 just sets out how applications will be assessed, and the key points for us are making sure that activities are culturally appropriate, that they reflect the reverence and significance of Tūpuna Maunga, that they don't compromise the health and well-being of these sacred sites, and ensuring that commercial operators actually are committed to maximising the connection of visitors with the Tūpuna Maunga and understanding the Maunga values. Basically, just to finish off there, the strategy does encourage mana whenua involvement in commercial activities as a primary part of, and that's dealt with through the first options. And the last element of the report is to just deal with the delegations to enable the Maunga Tūhau pass to actually be authorised at different levels depending on the significance of those activities. Happy to answer any questions, Mr. Chairman.
Kia ora, Janine. We'll open it up for discussion. Kia ora, Alf.
Thank you, Chair. Janine, I've looked at the framework and you've got 7.4 as top of our recommendation, and you've got it under the framework, but 7.4 is different. I know that delegation 7.4 is under number 20 of the agenda report. Is that the one that you're referring to in regards to the recommendation?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Thank you.
I just wanted to sort of see if we can just make that explicit,
Sure.
please, because I know 7.4 under the framework is something totally different. That's all. Sorry to be pedantic.
No, thank you for that.
Thank you, Chair.
Kia ora, Alf. And just while we're talking about amendments, picking up the additional recommendation to add that is to reflect that there are some changes that need to be made to the list of activities, and also, as Clay had said, the real name of the paper needs to be changed. There's no other discussion. I'll move the paper. Dennis, can you second that, please? Yes, thank you. All those in favour say aye, nod, thumbs up.
Aye.
Thank you. So moved. Takes us to the registers. First, we have health and safety.
So just talking to that quickly, we've identified there are 2 incidents on the Tūpuna Maunga, both involving contractors. The first at Maunga Wika, where in that weekend where we had significant rainfall, there was a really big storm. Basically, their ute lost traction and was slipping down the Maunga. So there was a bit of a risk, an issue there. To be honest, it's very uncertain with regards to what caused that. We have had issues inside the register around painting, but to be really certain about what the issue is, we've contracted in a roading engineer to provide us advice on the surface. The road is quite old, and so there isn't actually very much. It's very old tar seal, so we want to basically make sure that it's up to the appropriate standards before making any changes. So we are working with the roading engineer on that. Second one's with regards to a contractor removing some timber from within a container, and basically there's a large gust of wind and that caught their hand. So first of all, we've just sort of spoken to their contractor. I think they're going to be making sure that they lock the container open whenever they have it open, so that that doesn't happen again. And also just noting, of course, there's some first aid applied to the person.
Kia ora, Nick. Any discussion on the register? And then we have the events register. we'll take that as read. So just checking any questions or discussion on that register or either of them. If not, I'll move and could I ask you to second, Aileen, please. Thank you. All those in favour say aye. Nods, thumbs up. Yes, thank you. That completes the hui. Appreciate the long session. And Clay, can we ask you to close the hui?
Kia ora tātou katoa, e mei ana. Kia koutou katoa, ko ngā piki me ngā hiki, o ngā kōrero, ka nui te mihi. Kia tau te rangi Māori e, ki rungi a tātou, me noi tātou. Kia tātou katoa, te ata whai o tō tātou ariki a ihu karaiti. Me te aroha o te atoa, me te whiwhinga tahitanga, ki te wairua tapu, ake. Amine.
Amen.
Kia ora.
Take care, everyone.
Take care.
Aye.
Thank you.
Tātou.